Boo, 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 doo, boo, boo, ba boop. Guess what's happening tomorrow? It's maybe not tomorrow for you because I don't know when this video is going up. But August 11th, Bumblebee is happening and I'm excited. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be more of what you love and then some. So if you like me and you like Dewey, head on over to there to subscribe. It's gonna be a time. From superhuman survival skills to the bones of old, we have so many surprises in store for you today in this video. We are venturing all the way across the desert of the Sahara as we count down our list of top 10 weirdest things found in the Sahara Desert. Welcome back, Top 10 fam. I'm your host, Rachel Fisher, and I don't know about you, but I'm gonna need some water after this. Grab a hat, some sunblock, and let's get going. Number 10, desert glass. Flashback to 29 million years ago, an asteroid struck Earth. The energy of the explosion caused a vast region of the Libyan desert to turn into glass, what has become known now as desert glass. Love a name that's straight to the point. Glass made from the stars, essentially. Most of it can still be found in the crater, but you can also find it in, I don't know, the tomb of one of the most famous pharaohs of Egypt. When King Tutankhamun's tomb was opened, among all of his treasures, there was a stunning scarab beetle carved from green glass. While they probably had little to no idea of where the glass came from, it is incredibly symbolic of the Egyptians' relationship to the stars. One of the knives that also accompanied the pharaoh in the afterlife was a dagger made from a meteorite. Whether they knew the two were connected, we can only guess, but either way, its otherworldly beauty was apparent and worthy of a king. Number 9. Gold. Did you know there was actually a gold rush in the Sahara Desert at some point? Right? The story of how it was discovered varies, but the most popular story is that a goat herder found it. They found an odd looking rock and asked his friend what it could be. Apparently he had a very good friend because he told him that he had found a gold nugget. He could have lied and been like, "That's a rock. I'll take it off your hands. You don't need a rock," and then sold it for $1,400 because that was the value. Of course, word got out and people flocked onto the site. As is tradition with gold rushes, most people didn't find anything, but a few got rich. Life just isn't fair. People still continue to search for gold in the area to this very day, though the chances of finding much of anything can be pretty slim. They went to town on that area. Number 8. Dinosaur bones. Though it may look pretty barren, don't be deceived. The velociraptor is just one example of a desert-dwelling dinosaur that existed. It is still pretty rare to find fossils of them, but it is not unheard of. Still, paleontologists were delighted when they discovered the nearly complete skeleton of the Mansorosaurus in a desert of modern Egypt. This colossal specimen was the size of a school bus and became one of the most monumental finds in the area. But wait, there's more! Back in 2008, paleontologists uncovered a new type of pterosaur in the Sahara among other fossils from creatures that would have lived, I don't know, 100 million years ago. So, not just sand after all. Number 7. Whales? By now, I think we all know the world was a lot different before we humans got here, but it's still hard to imagine. Antarctica, for instance, used to be a tropical area of the world, so when I say that the Sahara wasn't always the desolate desert it is today, you know what I mean. But how do we know? Well, Whale Valley is one reason. The area that is now known as Whale Valley was covered by the lost Tethys Ocean, which explains why there are tons of fossils of some of the earliest known species of whale. That's right, incredibly well preserved specimens of species that died over 37 million years ago scatter this area in the desert. The site gives incredible insight into how whales evolved and changed over millions of years, but they aren't the only things they found. Massive shark teeth have been unearthed, creating a larger picture of who the big players were around that time. Number 6. A 700-mile long dust storm. Check out this YouTube clip.
Salut Michel!
If your jaw didn't just drop, something is wrong with you. Also, for all of my book talk friends, you know, Shadow and Bone fans, you know what that looks like. It's a much sandier version of the Fold. Ben Barnes, where are you? I'm not sorry if you didn't get that reference. Keep up. Imagine that thing coming towards you. In the desert, dust storms are a pretty familiar occurrence and they range in size. It's definitely not fun for sand to be sprayed in your face while you're at the beach, but now imagine that sensation going on for, I don't know, 12 hours. This dust storm was captured by NASA in May 2011 and was 700 miles in length, which is wider than the state of Texas. Why do they happen? Well, the sand isn't held down by any roots, nor does the ground get packed down by water. So if wind decides to mess around, you better take cover. Unless you want the most painful exfoliating treatment you've ever had in your life. But at the same time, do you? If it saves you money, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm joking. Please. Exfoliating is not that good for you. Number 5. Kitty Hawk. The last time anyone ever heard from Sergeant Dennis Coping was on June 28, 1942. He was on his way to the British desert base in a damaged P-40 Kitty Hawk aircraft when things went horribly wrong. Like, I don't know how they can go right if you're in a flying damaged plane, but sadly, Coping and the Kitty Hawk disappeared from eyes and ears for years. The craft was only discovered in 2012 by an oil worker and found the aircraft mostly intact. Even more distressing was that there were signs of the parachute having been used as a kind of shelter. Coping must have waited beneath it hoping that help would finally come, but they were 70 years too late. However, his body was never found alongside the plane. The plane was taken and restored for display in the El Alamein Museum, but many were displeased. They believed that the plane should have stayed there as a memorial for the man who never made it home. Number 4. The Iron Man Motorcycle Man. This story, you just can't make it up. This story is equal parts hilariously charming and mind-boggling. It's so impressive. It might be more impressive than Tony Stark building an Iron Man suit in the desert, just by the sheer fact that this guy had less to build with. Like, the man I'm referring to, his name is Emile Leray. Emile decided back in 1993 that he was gonna road trip across the Sahara Desert in a Citroen 2CV, which is this. Check out this picture. Of course, this dollar store Herbie Fully Loaded broke down after he crashed it while going off-road. So what did he do? Well, he built himself a motorcycle. He took the car apart and built himself a motorcycle. He spent 12 days on this impromptu project, and with only 16 ounces of water left, he drove the dang thing home. The funniest part is he was picked up by the Moroccan police a day later and fined because his documents were for the Citroen 2CV, not an improvised motorcycle. What? Take the guy to a hospital! No pat on the back, no wow buddy. They charged him for not having his papers in order. Meanwhile, he just came from the desert. Oh man, like this was so good. It's amazing. I just can't handle this story. Well, there you go. Check out this YouTube clip. Also, this is what the guy looks like. Amazing.
De nombreuses fois, les problèmes se sont posés au niveau d'un petit village qui s'appelle Tilemzoun où les militaires m'ont arrêté. Donc ces militaires m'ont demandé de rebrousser chemin et de retourner.
Number 3. The Nabta Stones. This channel is no stranger to mythical megaliths, and I got another one for you. The Nabta Stones are the oldest known stone circle in the world. They were discovered by sheer luck in 1973. A guy named Eid Marif stumbled across them and took his colleague Fred Wendorf to see it. 700 miles south of the Great Pyramid, Nabta Playa was built more than 7,000 years ago. Like many of the other stone circles we've mentioned in previous videos, many people believe these stones have mystical powers, and so did the people who made them. Kind of. Archaeologists have determined that they were constructed by a nomadic people who worshipped cattle. They were built as a way to mark the summer solstice and monsoon season, so in a way, it's possible that this could be the world's oldest astronomical observatory. Number 2, Mauro Prosperi. Again, can't make this story up. I can't make this story up. It's kind of an adventure story, and technically, they did find him in the Sahara Desert, so there. This story is just wild. I can't make this up. This is survival in its truest form. Some people live for the extreme, and this Italian sports enthusiast was just that kind of person, though this may have been too much. The Marathon of Sands, or the Sahara Marathon, is the toughest foot race on Earth. It's a 6-day annual trek covering 156 miles, about 6 normal marathons. You have to be entirely self-sufficient, bringing your own food, which Mauro proved to be. On the 4th day, a sandstorm hit and Mauro disappeared within it because he kept running and then he didn't realize that he had gone off the path. Flash forward to an 8-day journey of intense dehydration and starvation. Mauro did incredible things to survive, including drinking his own urine when he ran out of water, licking dew off rocks, and feasting off of bats, bird eggs, and lizards he found in an abandoned temple. With no rescue in sight and days of pointless searching with no checkpoints, he tried to take his own life, but he was too dehydrated that it didn't work, as his blood coagulated too soon. So he just kept walking and eventually stumbled upon a girl tending to a flock of goats. There's tons more to that story, like a lot, so it would actually take a whole video to be like, what are all the things that he did? As of 2014, Prosperia participated in the Marathon des Sables 7 times and placed 12th in 2001. Even after this experience in the Sahara, he was like, yeah, you know what, I survived that. I'm gonna go do other things. This man just doesn't quit. And last but not least, the Gobero skeletons. Paul Sereno and his team were looking for dinosaur skeletons when they stumbled across an even bigger surprise waiting for them. Sereno had just come from a team who uncovered a Spinosaurus and was eager for more. As I mentioned, it was really exciting for dinosaurs to be found in the desert. Instead though, he discovered the largest human graveyard in the Sahara Desert. The site was located in Gobero, Niger. Evidence suggests that the area was once a lush environment. Mixed in with the oddly placed human bones, they found amphibians, reptiles, and other creatures long since passed away, so that must have meant that there was a lush forest around. They didn't even have to do that much digging to find them, as some of the bones were just poking out of the sand as if they were waving hello. 10 years and 5 expeditions later, Sereno has found more than 200 burial plots, some of them buried in peculiar ways. One man was found with his head inside a pot, another sitting on a turtle shell, and this one's really sad, a woman embracing 2 children with her hands entwined. The bones are from 2 separate civilizations, the Kiphian and the Tenarian, which are 1,000 years apart. So how did they end up side by side? Will we ever know, or will the Sahara clutch that secret just a little longer? We'll have to wait and see. And that was our top 10 weirdest things found in the Sahara Desert. If you like this video, you know what to do, and you know we listen to you. And as always, remember to like, comment, subscribe. We love your comment shoutouts, as well as head over to Bumblebee to be the first to like that one as well. I've been your host, Rachel Fisher, and until next time guys, take care.